What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If that's something you like to listen to, we welcome you to subscribe. Otherwise, you can support our channel if you just like, share, or comment right down below. So, for today's video, actually, before I get into today's video, I just wanted to let all of the subscribers know that we have now launched a page on the Patreon platform. So we are going to be continue to drop content on YouTube, but we're also going to be dropping some exclusive content over on Patreon. So if you're active on this channel and you want to get all the nuggets and gems that we put out, definitely make sure you take advantage of Patreon because we will be posting more over on there as well. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. There's a link in the description for anyone who's interested in joining our Patreon channel. So for today's video, I have a special review. Now, this is Woodforest National Bank. Now, Woodforest National Bank is I guess I would describe them as a mid-sized bank, but they're actually like a smaller mid-sized bank. So just to recap for those who may not be familiar, right? You have the big banks, right? Chase, Wells Fargo, American Express, Bank of America, those types of banks, right? Then you have the mid-sized banks, which are like BB&T, PNC, BBVA, those types of banks. So Woodforest isn't like BB&T or, they're not that big. They're like a smaller mid-sized bank. They're not a small bank, but they're like a smaller mid-sized bank. So they have about 7 billion in assets under management. They're located in they're headquartered rather in Texas, but they do have branches in 17 different states. And I'm going to go over their business credit products, but just to kind of explain, when it comes the differences between like banks and credit unions, right? When it comes to business products, credit unions are going to be much more restrictive in terms of their business lending. It's usually going to be only for businesses in that state or maybe in like the surrounding states, depending on how big the credit union is. If it's a smaller credit union, usually it's going to just be in that state and even sometimes just within a certain amount of counties. With banks, however, if a bank has a bank charter in a different state, you could still access their credit products. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. You don't necessarily have to, be located where they're headquartered necessarily. Anyways, Woodforest Bank is actually pretty interesting. So I was able to speak with a couple of the representatives to kind of extract some information. So they actually don't offer any credit cards, which is pretty interesting. So the only revolving credit products that they offer are lines of credit, which is not that bad because lines of credit are actually a little bit more flexible, in terms of cash access than credit cards, right? With a line of credit, you can draw down the entire amount. But with a credit card, if you're going to do a cash advance, for one, you're going to be paying a much higher interest rate, and then two, you may not, you may only be able to draw out like 30 to 40% of the credit line. So, that's one of the trade-offs. So, Woodforest actually used to be partnered with Elon Financial Services. Now, Elon Financial Services is one of the major credit card processor, or not credit card processors, but credit card servicers. So they provide a lot of the back end processing and platform. So they team up with different banks who might not have like the technical infrastructure to do all the credit card applications, the monthly servicing, the login and monthly statements and stuff like that. So they help other banks be able to scale out their loan portfolios and things like that. But they're no longer Woodforest is no longer partnered with Elon Financial Services, so that's one of the reasons why they don't offer credit cards. So I'm gonna start on the business side, which is pretty interesting. So they do offer term loans. They offer business, commercial real estate financing, and they also offer commercial vehicle financing. And then on top of that, they have three different business lines of credit. So first I'm gonna start. They have a secured business line of credit, which is actually a CD secured business line of credit. So you have to put the money into a CD, and then basically the CD is collateral for the line of credit. So one of the disadvantages of the CD secured line of credit is that it only goes up to 95% of the value of the collateral. So if you have like $1,000 CD, business CD, the business line of credit is only going to be $950. So that's one of the disadvantages. And then they have two types of the two other types of lines of credit, business lines of credit. So the first one is a commercial business line of credit. Now, this is somewhat secured because um, you do have to pledge collateral for the line of credit, but not like cash. If you want to pledge cash, then you have to do the CD secured line of credit. But if, let's say, you have like machinery or equipment or a business vehicle, you can use all of that as collateral against the line of credit, right? And what'll happen is they use a third party to appraise the value of the collateral that you have, and so that'll help them determine what amount that they'll give you. So that's one way if you don't want to necessarily put up cash as collateral, but you might have some equipment or machinery or vehicles that you're using in your business that you're still able to utilize and leverage, and then also have that line of credit at the same time. That's another great way. And so this one has a minimum of $5,000. They don't specify what the max is. That would all be dependent on the value of the collateral that you pledge. The one thing about and since it's a higher ceiling, right, this particular line of credit, um, it's a little bit more intensive in terms of the process, right? So they are going to pull your personal credit. They are going to want 2 years of personal tax returns, 2 years of business tax returns, a profit and loss statement, as well as a schedule of business debts, which is just a form that they give you where you just spell out all of your different business debts and liabilities. And then the last line of credit they have is called the RELI unsecured line of credit. So this is a completely unsecured line of credit. Um, it does have a max of 10,000 and a minimum of 500. And so this one is going to be much less intensive in terms of paperwork. All they're requiring is they will pull your personal credit, so you are PGing for it. But I spoke to them, and I asked, so what if you have a new business? Basically, the only other thing they may ask for is if you have 3 months of business bank statements, and that's it. So, for the RELI unsecured business line of credit that goes up to 10,000, they're not going to require any tax returns or anything like that. It's just going to be mainly credit score driven, and they may want to see just some business revenue just to make sure that you um, can justify the limit that they give to you. So those are the three. Just to recap, you have the secured business line of credit, you have the revolving business line of credit that's collateralized by business assets, and then you have the unsecured line of credit that caps at 10,000 and is a minimum of 5. Now, one thing about all of their business credit products is that they do not report to any of the business credit bureaus. That's the one downside. I spoke with them and they said at the moment they're not reporting to the business credit bureau. So one of the downsides is that these business credit products won't necessarily help you build business credit. In terms of who they pull, so I did find out for all of their credit applications they pull Equifax. So that's a good thing. And it seems like a lot of the smaller institutions pull Equifax, at least from my experience recently. So they do pull Equifax. And then on the personal side, they have two products that are somewhat similar, right? They have a secured personal line of credit, which does report to all three consumer reporting agencies, and then they also have a um, unsecured personal line of credit that's just based on your credit profile. Also, they do consider your banking relationship with them. So on the application, they do it's an optional field, so you could put whatever your bank balance is on any accounts that you have. So this is actually pretty important too, because they're kind of telling you indirectly that they value the whole relationship banking approach. So they'll consider the amount of money that you have with them as a factor in determining your approval. So, let's say you had, 15, 20,000 in your bank account, that might play a little bit better in your favor as opposed to just applying for it without an existing relationship. And so that's basically all of the products they have. Like I said, they don't have any credit cards, but they do have lines of credit. So that seems to be kind of what their bread and butter is. Overall, I mean, they seem pretty good. Friendly customer service. But definitely check to see, if they're eligible in your state. You can apply for the most part, you can apply for their unsecured lines of credit all through their website, right? So it's not like a credit union. They're not going to do a check systems or anything like that. You just straight up apply directly, and usually they'll probably get back to you within several business days. They say on their website though, if you don't hear back from within 14 days, then usually that means that your application is denied. So, but overall, it seems to be decent. If there's anyone who has any experience with Woodforest National Bank, definitely let us know in the comment section down below. As a reminder, we do have a Patreon channel. So I'll post a link in the description for anyone who wants to also check out our content that we put on other platforms. We definitely welcome you to subscribe to that. Until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.